The Cleveland Browns, back in the playoffs for the first time since 2002, will hit the road in their return off to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers for the third time this year. The Browns punching their postseason ticket by beating the Steelers last week.
For the first time in 18 years, the Cleveland Browns are going to the playoffs.
Pittsburgh, of course, sat many of their starters in that game, and when they faced off the first time in Week 6, they dominated the Browns, their defense picking off Baker Mayfield twice and sacking him 4 times.
Oh my God! Do it, hit that boy. Oh my God!
So let's start there with Pittsburgh's pass rush. There wasn't a better one in the league this year. Tops in sacks, tops in QB hits.
All right, now the heat's getting to him.
TJ Watt led the charge, picking up 15 of them, which also happens to put him in first in QB takedowns in the NFL. Pittsburgh also sacked Mayfield 4 times last week, and they weren't even playing many of their starters.
That is now at least 1 sack in 73 straight games, the longest streak since the NFL started.
In the big picture, Pittsburgh was able to get to the QB as often as they did because they blitzed at the 3rd highest rate in the NFL. And as it turns out, Baker Mayfield was one of the most blitzed QBs in football, but the extra heat didn't bother him much because he put up a passer rating over 100 when facing 5+ pass rushers.
Mayfield, perfect pass!
And that's because despite facing a high rate of extra pass rushers coming after him, Mayfield didn't end up getting taken down all that often. Cleveland was top 10 in sacks allowed. Their pressure rate allowed one of the lowest in the game.
Wide open, caught, touchdown, they got it.
Every time, baby.
That's what makes the trenches such a great matchup in this game, because all those numbers are part of the reason the Browns' O-line was ranked 1st overall by PFF this season.
Mayfield back to pass, throws near side, Hunt caught it, at the pylon, touchdown!
That extra quality O-line protection helped Mayfield rebound from a bad sophomore season. He threw 26 TDs against just 8 picks, his passer rating over 95.
Gonna throw, he throws, end zone, touchdown, Kendall Lamb!
Cleveland's passing attack starts with Jarvis Landry most games. Landry being targeted around 30 more times than anyone on the team, had more than 25 receptions than anyone else.
This throw is perfect, and Landry rewards him with a great catch.
But Steel Hurton isn't just a group of pass rush specialists. Their pass defense, top 3 in passing yards per game allowed, rating allowed, completion percentage allowed, and interceptions.
Mike Hilton made a great interception.
If you're looking for their defensive weakness, so to speak, it's along the ground. Over 4.3 yards per carry allowed, the Browns averaging over 6 a pop against them last week.
Chubb is still going! He's gone!
This is, of course, where you get to the Browns' offensive bread and butter. Nick Chubb picked up his 6th 100-yard rush game in their final game of the year.
He will break tackles. He is a load.
Chubb only played 12 games this year, still had over 1,000 yards, scored 12 times, averaged over 5 yards a carry.
Pound it, pound it, pound it!
The Browns' ground game also features Kareem Hunt, of course, and between him and Chubb, Cleveland's run game was one of the best in the NFL.
I'm hoping we pop one right here. I just hand off and watch him run.
Having such an effective run game means plenty of play action, too. The Browns, a team that utilized it plenty this season.
Drifts back, throws, end zone, caught, Landry's got it!
The Steelers' D, though, doesn't get fooled too often by the old fake handoff. No team had a lower passer rating allowed against play action than they did.
Mayfield, knocked down.
And when play action isn't effective, it makes it that much harder to move the chains on 3rd down against them. The Steelers top 5 on that front and top 10 when it comes to red zone defense.
3rd and 3, and the Steelers are able to come up with a sack.
This is another key battle to watch for, too, because the Browns' 3rd down offense ranked in the top 10 and were top 5 at scoring a TD from inside the 20.
Chubb's in! Touchdown! Nick Chubb!
Okay, so what about when Big Ben and company have the ball? They scored at a decent rate, even if they didn't finish the year in elite territory. Their red zone offense in the respectable zone as well.
Throws the ball for the goal line, touchdown Pittsburgh!
But they were south of average when it comes to moving the ball. There was a big gap between their points per game and yards per game, and in turn, they were not great on 3rd down.
He was very close to being dragged down.
But their deficiencies here stack up against some Cleveland deficiencies, too. Middle of the pack in red zone D, and worse when it came to 3rd down defense.
And they push him across the goal line for a touchdown!
Cleveland's defensive numbers are average at best in most categories. Yards per game allowed and points per game allowed in subpar territory.
Handoff keeps it, weaves to the 2, he's in, touchdown, Lamar Jackson!
Their ability to stop passing attacks resides in the same statistical neighborhood, too.
Threw it in the end zone!
They weren't terrible at getting to the QB, at least. Myles Garrett leading the team with 12 sacks.
4th down and goal. It's a quarterback draw. He tries to get in. They didn't get there. Yeah!
And Olivier Vernon coming up with 9.
Olivier Vernon, the first man to Carson Wentz.
But the Browns don't rank high in QB hits, and they rarely blitz, so it's usually Garrett and Vernon or nothing.
It's Crowder, and the Jets extend their lead.
When you face Roethlisberger, though, there isn't much point to blitzing him anyway. Few QBs faced fewer 5+ man pass rushes than he did.
That is the shot play that you needed right there.
And in turn, no QB was sacked fewer times than number 7 was this season.
Throws it to the left side of the end zone. Touchdown.
Good job, guys. Good job. Good job. That's what I'm talking about.
The reason so few teams sent the house at Ben, there was little to be gained from it, and that's because in most games, Roethlisberger didn't hold the ball very long before letting it fly.
Comes forward, throws the ball down the field. A leaping grab by Chase Claypool.
Playmakers make plays, baby. Let's go.
The Steelers' passing attack relied on short, quick passes for much of the year. They were at the bottom in yards per attempt and intended air yards per pass.
Puts an air under it and makes the connection.
So it's more relevant to know how the Browns' defense fared against short, quick throws, and here they were actually pretty good. Their rating allowed right near the 90 mark according to Next Gen Stats, good for a top 5 ranking.
Under duress, just squirts out of his hand.
All that short stuff, though, did work for Roethlisberger most of the year. He put up 33 TDs, only threw 10 picks, threw for over 250 yards a game.
The Browns zigged when they should have zagged.
Their passing attack does not flow through one guy, though Diontae Johnson did lead the team in targets and yards.
What a catch!
JuJu Smith-Schuster, meantime, led Pittsburgh in receptions and tied for the team lead in TDs.
JuJu Smith-Schuster for the Steelers. Go-ahead touchdown.
And Mapletron emerged too. Chase Claypool also finding the paint 9 times in 2020.
Deep shot. Caught. Touchdown. Claypool.
And finally, you have the Steelers' run game, which you can call the X factor because on the year, few rushing attacks were less efficient than theirs.
Pittsburgh has chosen to run the ball a heck of a lot more in this drive than I would have expected.
The Browns, however, not super adept at stopping ball carriers this year either. And you can't overlook the Browns being without their head coach. Kevin Stefanski won't be with the team in this one, and they'll also be missing guard Joel Bitonio from that top-rated O-line for the game. You'll have to keep your eye out for more injury/COVID news as the week goes along, which you can find on NFL.com. There have been 14 previous instances of teams meeting in their final game of the regular season and then facing off in the first week of the playoffs. The team that won the last game of the year has gone on to win the playoff game 6 times. The team that lost has rebounded in 8 of those games, so pretty even. Who do you like, the defense first team or the guys with the old school approach to offense? You know the deal. Get your predictions into the comments section. And since it's playoffs, we have upped our game, expanding our panel to 10. Super Wildcard Weekend is here, and so are our predictions for it.